Sis, at the end of the day, be bold, be you, and embrace your individuality. After all, there is only one you. What's up, dolls? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. If this is your first time here, welcome. If it's not, you already know I'm glad to see your face. So today, in honor of Women's History Month, and honestly, just in general, I feel like this message is much needed. Call it motivation, call it a rant, whatever you want to call it. It's just been on my heart and on my mind to share. So here we are, and here I am about to share it. So basically, what I want to talk about is just how Christian women are not a monolith. You know, we are not monolithic. We're not all the same. We don't all have the same desires. We don't all have the same vision for our lives. And you guys have heard me talk about this before, especially if you've been following me for a while. You know, I've talked about my own struggles with fitting into the Christian niche and, you know, trying to do like Christian faith-based content. And if you haven't heard me talk about it, I will link some videos down below of just things that I've talked about being a Christian single mother, a Christian content creator, so on and so forth. So you can check that out. But with that also comes the conversation of the fact that Christian women are not monolithic. I have this conversation with my friends a lot about just different desires that we all have. Like, not all of us desire marriage. Not all of us desire marriage at a young age or at the same age. Not all of us desire to have children. Not all of us desire to be stay-at-home moms. Not all of us desire to work. Like, whatever the case may be. But I feel like there is a very common Christian stereotype when it comes to what a Christian biblical woman should be, how she should dress, how she should talk, what she should look like, how she should live her life. And if you don't fit in these boxes, then it's like you're almost getting knocked down a notch with everything that you like go against. And so, for instance, I know when I used to live in the DMV, the church that I went to, loved them to death, absolutely loved them to death. But it was very common for all of the women to become stay-at-home moms and wives. Like, it was just the thing that you did, and that became the mark of what a Christian woman was. Not necessarily what it has to be, but just in that church, and well, not even just that church particularly, but in that church culture, like the sister churches and the churches that they were affiliated with and stuff, that was the thing. So if you were not a stay-at-home wife or a stay-at-home mom, then it wasn't like they were like, oh, you're not biblical or you're not Christian, but you would feel out of place. You would feel like, well, dang, like, have I not made it yet? Have I not arrived as a Christian woman? You know, and so I know women who have struggled with that as a result. I mean, I personally didn't struggle with it because if you can't tell by now, I'm gonna live my life. Okay, that's one thing Rondell's gonna do. Rondell's gonna live her life, period. But you know, I know a lot of women that I was friends with at the time or acquaintances with, they struggle with that because maybe they got married and they weren't able to stay home right away because, you know, finances were needed in the home in order for them to maybe buy a house or get to where they wanted to get to as a married couple, or maybe they had their first child or maybe even their second or third and they still weren't able to stay home. And so they felt out of place because it's like, if you're in the middle of a cultural, you know, dynamic where everybody's doing something, everybody just is like, this is what we do, and you're not partaking in that, then you're gonna feel out of place. You're gonna feel almost lesser than, especially if they point it out and they kind of treat you as lesser than. You know, some of it might be your own, like, dang, like, how come I'm not able to partake in this? And a lot of the time, though, it's gonna be past this, like, this is the standard. And so if you're not meeting this standard, then you're not quite there yet. You know, even with just me, I said it in I think it was my Truth of Being a Content Creator, a Christian content creator video, how I've had like Christian acquaintances recently, like we're talking like within the last year of mine or the last 2 years, just be like, oh, you know, like, oh, you sound like a Christian woman, or you sound like this or this is happening, and you know, my influence in your life is improving your Christian walk because maybe I said something in a way that was favorable to them, or I did something in a way that was favorable to them. So it was like, yeah, like, okay, because I co-signed this, because I can say like, this is what a Christian woman should be, and you basically adhere to that idea in my mind, then I'm gonna go ahead and say you're a Christian woman. And I just want to say that not only for Women's History Month, like I said, but just going forward, that we should really just start debunking these things and really start pushing against the boxes that people try to place Christian women in. And of course, there are some foundational things that we could say, yes, like a Christian woman, you know, if we're looking at the Bible, should exhibit these things. So, you know, there should be a meekness to her, which, let me say, meekness does not mean weak. Meekness does not mean you're a doormat. It does not mean that you are a pushover. It does not mean that you let everything just slide. Meekness is, like, I like to say, a gentle strength. So I would like to say I'm meek. I mean, maybe I'm not. I don't know. I don't know, but I like to think I am. But either way, I know people, even if it's not me, I know people in my life that I could look at and be like, that's a great example of meekness, where you're not afraid to stand up for yourself. You know, you have a courage, you have a boldness to you where you're able to say, nope, that doesn't work for me, or nope, I'm not okay with this, or, you know, I was offended by this, or this was a problem for me, or whatever the case may be. But you're able to do it with tact, with a sense of diplomacy, and with a sense of respect that is necessary. So you're not just like raging and, you know, flipping out at the drop of a dime, because that's not cute, period. Man, woman, child, doesn't matter. It's not cute if you're flying off the handle all the time. Get that under control if that is a problem for you. But it's also not you saying like, I'm just gonna let it slide. Oh, I'm not gonna say anything. Oh, I don't want to cause any conflict. Like, running from conflict is going to make you a pushover, because one thing about life is you're gonna have some conflict. You're gonna have some arguments. You're gonna have some disagreements. And so you have to learn how to navigate those things in such a way where it's like, I am not being a doormat, I'm not being a pushover, but I'm still maintaining integrity and dignity, not only for myself, but for the other person as well. So, you know, meekness is like that to me. But, you know, biblical women should also obviously be putting God first. You know, there should be a level of modesty to us, and modesty to me goes far beyond dress. So, you know, I am having an upcoming video on my channel about that. Depending on when you're watching this video, the video might already be up. It's a live stream, it's a collaboration, check it out. But either way, you know, it goes beyond dress. In my opinion, it also goes to your mindset, how you just generally carry yourself, not just the clothes on your back, but how you generally carry yourself, you know, the words that come out of your mouth, the whole, like, your entire essence. So yes, we can pull from some of these things in the Bible and say, okay, this is non-negotiable, this is a standard. You know, even if you look in the Bible where it talks about the older women turning back and mentoring the younger women, like, you know, these are things that it's like, okay, like, we're not debating that. But the whole cultural and legalistic side, where it's like, in order for you to be a godly woman, your skirt has to hit at a certain point of your leg. In order for you to be a godly woman and a Christian woman, you have to homeschool your children and be a stay-at-home wife and mom. In order for you to be a Christian mom and a Christian wife, you've got to speak in this cadence and in this tone, and you got to be interested in this, that, and the third. Like, let's break away from those things that are cultural but are being passed as biblical and as a standard of Christianity, because that's just not accurate. And a lot of us like to quote like the Proverbs 31 woman, and oh yeah, I want to be the Proverbs 31 woman and this, that, the third. But she was not monolithic either. Like, yes, she tended to her husband and her family. Yes, she made sure that her home was good, because that is her first ministry. Yes, she made sure that, you know, she was being faithful to God and things like that. But she also was a businesswoman. She also had like different things going on in her life, and she was a good steward of all that God gave her, and she did not box herself in. And I think that's the biggest thing that is annoying to me within the Christian faith. And don't get me wrong, I love Jesus, I love my Christian brothers and sisters, but I feel like we can be very boxy in how we view biblical womanhood and even biblical manhood. I mean, I'm not a man, so I can't speak to that aspect, but I'm sure the Christian men out there also have things where they're like, hey, like, this is annoying, like this setting this bar, you know, we all gotta fit this box or this or that. But I think that's one of the most annoying things. It's like, if you don't fit these boxes in lockstep, then you're not Christian. And even if people don't, or you're not Christian enough, maybe not Christian, but you're not Christian enough. That's the thing. Like, you still got work to do. You still got room to grow. And until you hit these boxes in people's minds, you're not there yet. Now, the minute you start fitting those boxes, now they're like, oh yeah, you've arrived, you made it, you know? Because like I said, I've had people tell me that, where it's like, you know, they feel like from them being in my life, it's like, yeah, these conversations are working, or us hanging out is working. I see you changing. I'm molding you into being the person you need to be. And it's like, nope, that's not going to work. So, you know, I just want to encourage the women out there to be bold, be yourself, embrace your individuality, and really just start getting beyond the culture of whatever your church is doing, or maybe your Christian friend group, and really get down to the heart of the matter of what biblical womanhood and and Christian womanhood looks like. Like, really dive into the Bible for yourself. Like they say, study to show thyself approved. So get into the word yourself and really like have these conversations with yourself and with God and get down to the heart of the matter, because a lot of us are living in these restricted boxes, and because of it, we're struggling to feel adequate. We're struggling to feel worthy. We're struggling with our mental health. Okay, I've talked about that recently with one of my friends, where it's like a lot of Christian women struggling with the idea of not being married by a certain age, because again, for so long within the body of Christ, it's been either said verbatim or insinuated and implied that if you're not married by a certain age, then you just are not there yet. You're just not at a certain level of Christian womanhood. So now you have a generation of women who are past a certain age, not married, not with a child, and they're just like, oh my gosh, like what's wrong with me? I can't reach my biblical peak and my Christian peak until my spiritual and faithful peak until I get married and I have children, and then I will finally be a full biblical woman. And they're really out here like between and betwixt, like whether they're really worthy or not, and whether they really are like a biblical woman. And it's just like, you can't, like, they can't see the forest for the trees. They can't see their life being fulfilling without a husband and a child. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that if you desire marriage and children that something is wrong with you or whatever, because it's not. Like, that is a great admiration. That's something I desire for myself as well. But I also have come to grips with the fact that marriage is not something that I'm entitled to, and it's not a promise of God in that sense, in the sense of like, he owes me that because I followed him. Like, at the end of the day, if he sees fit for me to be married, that husband gonna come. I don't have to worry about it. But if he doesn't come, then my life can still be fulfilling, and it doesn't make me any less of a Christian woman because of it. And I can still have a wonderful, amazing, impactful life. And so it took me years to get to this point where I'm like, you know what? Marriage is great. It's beautiful. Don't get me wrong. But is it the end all be all? No. So, you know, I really feel like we as women need to start getting back to embracing our true essence, like I said, and getting down to the heart of the matter of what Christian womanhood really looks like. So I just want to, my bad, y'all, my battery on my camera died, and I was like, what in the world is going on here? But anyways, like I was saying, I just want to encourage you women out there, including myself, to just get back to the heart of the matter. Like, embrace who you are. God made you unique for a reason. If you desire to own several businesses and you don't desire to be a stay-at-home wife, then that is okay. If you desire to send your kids to school rather than homeschool, that is okay. Every journey, every path in life is not for everybody, and we got to stop acting like it is and trying to force women to fit in these boxes, because like they always say, there's somebody out there for everybody. So if you're scared that like you're not going to be able to find a partner, or a partner's not going to be able to find you because you don't desire to fit in every little Christian box that society and particularly the church has set up for Christian women, then, you know, I challenge you to check your faith, because I'm telling you right now, there's a guy out there that is okay with it. And honestly, at the end of the day, what's not okay with one man is going to be okay with another. Like, don't stress yourself out to the point of like, oh my gosh, like I got to fit every box. I got to jump through every hoop in order to be this amazing Christian woman. Like, obviously, change is necessary. Growth and self-reflection and self-awareness is necessary. Okay. So definitely check yourself. Definitely, you know, look at those areas that need some work and be real with yourself. I'm not saying like let's throw accountability and self-awareness to the wind, but don't stress yourself to the point where you try to be this perfect Christian woman. Like, at the end of the day, none of us are perfect, and if anybody's expecting you to be perfect, they don't need to be in your life, point blank period. So that's all I really have for you today. I know this one's kind of short compared to other videos, but honestly, I just wanted to get this off my chest and give you guys that word of encouragement to go forth being your amazing, bold, courageous self and embracing your individuality. So I will see you guys on the next one. Like I said, stay tuned for the live streams, or depending on when you're watching this, the live streams are probably already uploaded, talking about modesty, talking about burnout as an entrepreneur. I mean, there's so many things that we're going to be talking from a woman's perspective, and these are topics that honestly need to be discussed in a public way, because I definitely have discussed them in private, and I'm sure you have too. So if you made it this far, don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you don't miss future uploads and live streams. Don't forget to share this video with one of your girlfriends to encourage her to be bold and be her amazing self in Christ, with the power of Christ in her. And I will see you guys on the next video. Bye.